An illustration which I'm referencing from Liverpool in the fight to abolish slavery. They had drawn the way that the bodies were laid out in the hold of the ship to really highlight to people the atrocities of slavery and the way that human bodies were being kept in the hold. My family were enslaved to the Wunderlich family, who owned the first press tin and plaster ornamentation sealing company in Australia. Their materials are heritage restored and protected throughout heritage buildings in Australia. They have a really large archive which I can mine and claim space within that as my own, and their very big legacy, I can insert my family as part of that. My name is Jasmine Togo-Brisby. I'm a multidisciplinary artist. So with this work, Copper Archipelago, I'm quite directly appropriating some of their designs. Instead of where you'd see laurel ornamentation, I'm using the sugar plantation. And where you might have a rosette, I'm using my own matrilineal lines. Our portrait as a relief on the tile. It's combining our story in this relief pressed tile form. One of the tactics that they would use on the vessels was to shine mirrors to our ancestors on shore and the beaches and get them to come out to the big boats. So I wanted to use copper because it's obviously very shiny. It's a way to lure the viewer into the space towards my work in a similar way that our ancestors were lured on board vessels. It's almost a little claustrophobic, very oppressive. You're very aware of ceiling height when that happens. That's also why I like to have the vessel ceiling and then the open space outside. While I work with ceiling height, I'm very directly engaging with the Wunderlich's ceilings and their legacy, but it's also around the hold of the ship, how restricted it is, how dark it is, all the things that took place in that journey over the ocean. I reference Derek Walcott poetry, where he speaks about the archipelago as this synonym for fragments. For me, like I've never had that sort of sense of belonging to a particular land, but there's this sense of that it's ours, and use that as this tool of empowerment by that reclamation. It's calling the vessel an archipelago. It's calling the vessel the space of creation. I'm here with my work, Can You See Us Now?, for our South Sea Islander exhibition at the Queensland Museum, Say Our Names. The tam-tam is the ancestral voice that comes out of the drum. It's used to communicate between the islands. It's used for ceremony. In the marketplace, they had been transformed into this other thing, miniaturised and muted into this ornamental piece that you could then cross the ocean with. It was sort of spoke to me on many levels around our ancestors and our South Sea contemporary identity in that sort of transformation and displacement. The tam-tam becomes the ancestral body. I want our story to be seen. I want our story to have light shed upon it. When I started being an artist, it was like, I'm just going to do what I can do for our people as an artist. Communities globally who live in the wake of slavery will utilise this image to revisit their past and to come to terms with their future and their existence today. And so I really wanted to be able to engage with that as a South Sea Islander, which inserts us as part of that global story, right, of slavery, which is so often denied. To be included in the APT in this sort of way, to have this exhibition on with this work, we have this agency within these institutions to be us, yeah, and to be seen and to, you know, to have this space. It's a global platform, but it's here in Brisbane where our community can all be part of it. It's incredibly special.